Hello, my friend, and welcome to the SWRA podcast, where aging, wellness, and wisdom intersect. I am your host, Maggie Lazar, and I am delighted to have you on. If you are a returning listener, I welcome you back. If this is your first time, welcome. On this podcast, we talk about wisdom as we grow older. We look beyond the obvious, whatever is on the surface, to see beyond and get some insight and some tips on how to live a productive, healthy, wise life. So today in the news, once again, there is a story about a murder-suicide. A husband, and it usually is the guy, shoots his wife and himself. And of course, the stories that circle around this tragedy is that they were going through a divorce. He had some skeleton in his closet. She kind of stayed with him for 20 years. And when she decided to call it quits, it snapped, right? So, of course, we don't have the details. But what I want to think about based on that situation, first of all, it is a tragedy. No one should die at the hand of the person you trusted the most. That in itself is a tragedy. But it's like a copycat type of scenario because we've had recently some of the same murder-suicide or just plain femicide, intentional killing of a woman. But you can have all types of opinions about the why, the how. Yes, definitely, there is an element of mental illness for you to say, if I can't have you, no one else can. But what I want to focus on today is the total disregard for human life. And whether you are pro-war or not, pro-abortion or not, whatever situation we might have faced as a society. But I personally feel that at the crux of that is a disregard for human life. So when somebody is committing a crime, shooting during a robbery, a home invasion, right? You're not at war. You're just trying to get something usually that doesn't belong to you. But when you are looking at the human element, looking at people around you who are different, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like their life has less value than yours? And this is what we're dealing with right now. That a certain group of people, because of the way they look, just don't matter. We could do to them or with them whatever you please. They're just like a commodity, not even a hot commodity. I remember when they would have debates about abortion and other such things. But the one thing that always stuck to me was that how do you value a human life? At what age do you start to value a human life? And what could cause you to want to eliminate that? First of all, I believe we have to answer to a higher power who has the capability for life. We as mortals, as human, should never pretend that those lives don't matter. That person doesn't matter. Only I and those who look like me matter. So when you start going down that rabbit hole of people devaluating people, dehumanizing people, and in your mind, you're being fed that diet that you're macho and then, whatever you say goes. It's easy to fall into the trap of taking someone's life. But I think a lot of these men have not been taught how to handle stress, rejection, disappointment. It's a school of thought that if those things happen to you, you have to be able to move it to the side, keep looking forward, and keep it moving. But if you have never been taught how to deal like a loss, a disappointment, when you grow into adulthood, you're just a grown child because you do not have the skills that you need to maneuver this crazy life that we're living right now. So that's what I wanted to share, that the respect, the value for human life, it's something that needs to be ingrained. It needs to be taught to children. It needs to be modeled. So if I say everybody has value, and then I'm yelling at the person bagging my groceries or the person who's driving the Uber, what does that say about me? It doesn't bode well. So let's just go out there and do a self-assessment. How do I feel about other people, especially those who don't look like me? Then you're going to find your answer, and then you can take steps to change it, to improve yourself. All right, sis? So I hope you appreciated this little bit of insight. And every time I see something going on in the world, in my city, I always go beyond it and look and see what is at play here. All right, sis. Have a good day. Be a good human. Be a blessing to others today. God loves you and I love you. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Bye.